Oh, thanks. Oh,
we're live. Hey,
hey.
We are back. It has been a great morning so far. For those of you who are joining us, my name is Gabriel Diego Hernandez. I'm the education director here at Mile Square Theater, and we are hosting a live stream for MST today for the Hudson Gives fundraising campaign. This morning, we talked with 8 incredible people. We have 8 more lined up for you during this lunch hour. Let me tell you quickly about what Hudson Gives is. This is an annual event hosted by the Hudson County Chamber of Commerce for support for nonprofits in Hudson County. Mile Square Theater has participated in this event for many years. We're raising $30K today. And thanks to you, we are almost 40% of the way there, I believe. We're like 12, almost at 12,000, something like that. I think we can get to 50% within the next couple of hours. Let's get those donations in. So my next guest is the one and only Nandita Shenoy. Nandita, you're my favorite. Nandita, let me tell you quickly about how I know Nandita. Okay, yeah, 11,900.
11,900, yes.
So I first saw Nandita in an actorly capacity. I saw you in the same Marion play that I was talking about earlier, where I first saw Kevin. That was a fertile show, and then so she was just like a dope actor that I saw in a show. I didn't actually officially meet for a while after that. And then we wound up like pandemic-y meeting because we were in the same production of It's a Wonderful Life that was sort of like virtual and filmed in the fall of 2020. And Nandita, I don't know if I ever told you this, but so I'm pretty technophobic. I didn't spend most of my life in front of a computer until recently. And during COVID, I avoided Zoom for many, many months because I was just hanging out with my 3-year-old, right? Like my work shut down. Rachel's already worked remotely. So I was like, all right, here's the assignment. I keep the kid out of wifey's hair. She keeps the lights on, right? I didn't spend any time on Zoom the whole whole spring and summer of 2020. And then in the fall, we were rehearsing It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
And Nandita was the first person that I would like talk shit with.
I chat too.
In the chat. I was like, the Zoom chat is like a fun place to be silly. I learned that from Nandita.
I had no idea that was your indoctrination to Zoom, but
that was my entry
here
point.
We are.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Well, more about Nandita. Nandita's a dope writer, dope actor. I just saw her on stage in a performance at Yale University called Peachy, a sort of Chekhovian dramedy. Dope, kind of sort of like intergenerational, like restaurant culture mixing saga, Punjabi, Mexican, California kind of restaurant story. Really amazing, really like gorgeous show actually. And Nandita played the matriarch of this family and like the owner of this restaurant. And you were so amazing. You broke my heart. You really made me laugh. It was really, really dope. How are you feeling coming out of that show?
I'm feeling good. Yeah. I mean, it was a really fun experience. We had a great time with the students and I thought the production was really incredible.
It did your thing. Yeah.
Because it was, being a restaurant play, there's a lot of food. And the thing that I learned is don't do shows with lots of food because you're always like trying to eat stuff and, there's like this whole other layer of complicated things. But I was just amazed at just how totally produced and realized it was, which generally I would think when you're thinking about an undergraduate production, that's not what you're thinking, but it was really fantastic and would put any, Lort theater to shame. So
let's go. Yeah, I went in with like semi-tempered expectations just because I was like, I was like, all right, Nandita's a professional actor. I don't know how that contract worked, but they brought you in to like be the adult in the room, basically with like some, what I mean? Like, I didn't know what the overall quality was going to look like, but it was killer. It was really,
I thought it was great. Yeah. I mean, I thought all the students were fantastic and it was really fun. And also just, it was kind of wild to be playing like their mothers and then also kind of being like, you could be my children and that's crazy. So,
it was crazy because you just like still fully give like 29. I
love you and I'll pay you on Venmo later.
No, but for real though, you know what I mean? But you like you lost yourself in that role. Like I didn't I believed it the whole time, even though I don't believe it. Like in hindsight. Um, what are you cooking now? Are you writing? Are you in the lab?
I'm doing research for a play that I will be writing later this year at a residency in Colorado called Green Box Arts. So, yeah, I'm doing some interviews based on or about around the topic of belonging and how we experience belonging as people, and also to dig a little bit deeper into how different generations experience belonging, because I have this theory that the internet has changed how we experience belonging. And part of it was inspired by an experience I had during the pandemic when I was asked to speak to a class at Yale, a theater studies class at Yale. And everybody in the class was not actually there. And it really kind of blew my mind, like how you could go to college but not actually be there, because for me, so much of the college experience was being on campus. So I've been thinking about that for a couple of years, and I had this idea, and I got a residency to write it. And it's also, this play is being supported by Boomerang Theater here in New York. And yeah, so I'm doing the thing, and I'm trying to write a large scale work, with more than 5 people, because generally my sweet spot is kind of 5 and less. So, because that's the number of people that I can, do voices for as I'm writing, out of control. So yeah, but we're going to try to expand our horizons and write a larger scale work. So,
do you know how many characters?
I don't. I'm just doing interviews and talking to people and trying to speak to people from my generation and speak to people who are kind of college aged, just to get a sense of how things, are the same and are different.
Word. That's amazing. That sounds like a really rich line of inquiry. I'm excited to see what you want to turn it up.
Thanks.
So for those of you who have been to some of our shows, you might recognize, if you didn't catch our virtual production of It's a Wonderful Life in the fall of 2020, you might have seen Nandita in Christmas Tree Farm. When was that? December 2023?
23. Yeah, 2023. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's funny is Marion was written by Adam Simkowitz, that you saw.
Yes, it was.
And Christmas Tree Farm was written by Adam Simkowitz. And I am about to do a reading of a new Adam Simkowitz play in a couple of weeks. So
cool.
he is, someone I love working with, and someone who seems to like working with me. So not unlike Mile Square Theater, but
Yeah. How was your experience in that, doing like the sort of isolated, we film one person at a time kind of thing, never even got to like be in the same room together?
I know. I mean, it's so crazy, because I feel like, when did I actually meet you in person, Gabriel? Like, it was years later.
I think it would have been in like spring 2023 in the lobby.
Probably.
Yeah. But so getting into the space and being like, oh, now I'm doing a show at Mile Square Theater properly. Like, how did that feel after doing the sort of the weird COVID-y work?
I mean, the weird COVID-y thing was so funny, because we each filmed, as you know, like separately, but then everybody else was on Zoom feeding us our lines. It's such a wild kind of disembodied experience. And then to actually do the show live, with a whole cast, that we were all there and we were all squished into the dressing room and all of those things. That kind of in the same vein of me talking about the whole belonging, like, it is weird to do Zoom theater, because it's missing that essential piece of theater, which is, being together in a room. For me, theater is exciting because the audience is with us. And to be fair, I've actually seen some amazing Zoom theater, and I think it's its own thing that has value and can be really interesting. But it's different from live theater. And at the end of the day, I just love doing live theater. I love being together. So yeah. And the other thing I want to say about Mile Square Theater is that, like, I had never done a Christmas show at all, ever. I
Yeah.
don't even think I had like gone in for one. Like, I guess my face does not say Christmas. So I was not, that was just never a thing I thought I was going to do. And then Kevin invited me to, to
Now you've done a couple.
Yeah, no, and it's like I just keep doing Christmas shows at Mouse Square Theater.
It's your new lane.
Yeah, it's my new strange like thing. So
that was a lovely show. I really liked that play, the Christmas.
It was really sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. You were great in it, and the ensemble was, it was like, it was lovely. I cannot have you on here without talking about Wine Moms. Wine Moms is a play that Nandita is, a handful of drafts in on, or continue. I don't know how. Yeah. You tell me where is it at? I'm obsessed with this play.
We're at like draft, I want to say like 2.3.
Yeah.
And I'd love an opportunity to get to 3.0. But it's really in the stage of development where I need time with. I can see all the comments, and I'm delighted that Wine Moms is striking a chord with some people. But yeah, I'm just looking for an opportunity to work on it more with actors in a room and be able to, just spend time getting it on its feet, or on the picnic blanket, as one would say. And it's a fun piece that comes from real life.
I'm really I keep thinking about the character that it's not you. I'm not, obviously, no one's you, but the character that is the you.
That's the me stand-in, because there's always one.
Yeah. Hell, you deserve it. But the way that actors, the way that theater makers in general are sometimes sort of feel like outsiders and to say nothing of the motherhood or non-motherhood of it all. That's a whole, but as an actor too, where like these friends are like a couple of new friends, and the one who, they just like have no idea what she does. They don't understand it. Like that, like there's this real gap or something in just like how they understand what she does for work, and like who she is on this earth, you know what I mean? Like that, like
how it works, the way, I mean, from that part is very close to my heart, because I have always found that people will ask me like really personal, questions that you wouldn't ask of any other profession, oh, you're an actor, like, can you make any money doing that? And just like,
don't you want to be on Broadway?
Don't you want to be on Broadway? And like,
if
you're on a commercial, have you made $1 billion? And like, just like
your parents support you.
Yeah, your parents support you, is your, or if you've been on a commercial, like, you're getting money for nothing, even though it's your face that is being used repeatedly for a product. So yeah, just to kind of like disconnect from like, essentially the commerce of art. And it always feels like that, that it's perfectly acceptable, socially acceptable to ask those kind of questions of this profession in a way that, you would never ask anybody from a different, who would ask the lawyer, well, like, how much do you make?
Or like, wow, you've been there 14 years and you haven't made partner yet?
Yeah, like, you're not partner? What's going on?
Why is that?
Yeah. Like, don't you want to be partner?
Yeah. How ashamed of you are your relatives? I'm devastated to report, Nandita, that it's 12 p.m. I don't know how.
Okay.
I don't know how that happened. I'm not surprised that it did. I knew it wouldn't be enough time for us. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for lending your time.
Thank you for having me. I hope
part of the Mouse Square Theater family. We love you.
Yeah, thank you. Love Mouse Square, and live theater is important, and keep keeping on. I hope more people. I hope you get to gold very soon.
Yeah, hell yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye, Nandita. Nandita Shinoy, everyone. Everyone, like there's like an audience.
Yay!
Make some noise. All right, y'all. For those of you tuning in, again, my name is Gabriel Diego Hernandez. This is Mile Square Theater's live stream for Hudson Gibbs. We are plugging away. Get those get those checkbooks out. It's so much easier now, right? Like you don't need to get your checkbooks out. Just take your phone and hover it across your laptop screen, and in seconds you'll be able to make a donation of $5 or $10 or $50, and it'll make a difference. It'll make a difference as we keep trying to tell stories and bring people together to share moments that will never be forgotten and build community. Our next guest, Tracy, I tell me your last name. I don't want to mess up a last name again. Is it Gavant?
Yes, correct. Very good.
Oh, we are here.
First time. Ow.
Let's go. My next guest is Tracy Gavant. She is a board alumna and the longest running board member in MST history. That's dope.
Yeah, 13-year itch. I just left, so.
That's really cool. Yeah. Hey, you served. You did your time. That's really cool. What made you want to be on the board? What drew you to that work?
Well, I've always loved the theater and the arts, and it's one of the reasons why I moved to Hoboken was to be close to New York City and just be exposed and around the arts in general. And so when I realized that there was a theater here in town, and at the time when we're going back a while, clearly, there wasn't even a physical theater. I mean, we were at the Monroe Center. They were floating all over the place. But, I think it's such an important part of any community to have, kind of a central place. I think of a theater like the heart of a community. I truly do, because it's an opportunity for people to share ideas, start conversations, to hear a different perspective. It's just always been something that I feel opened my mind, to other things and other thoughts, and made me think about things. So, I couldn't wait to get more involved once I dipped my toes in.
That's so cool.
And then they kept pulling me back in. I just no.
Yeah. You couldn't get away. Do you remember any of those early shows, or like what the first show you would have seen, or the first show you would have been part of, when as a board member?
I don't remember the first show, but I can say that the one that made me become a board member was this was back. I'm probably aging myself, but Leonard Petit, who has since passed away, unfortunately, it was a one-man show of A Christmas Carol, and we did this. They did this these salon previews where people would open their homes and invite their friends, and it was sort of a salon series, so it wasn't physically at a theater. And so, I had agreed to be a host. I was approached to be a host, and Leonard, I remember he slithered down my staircase, and, it was all very dramatic. And I was absolutely blown away by the quality and level of the performance and the caliber of the actor and just everything about it. And I thought, oh my God, this is like, I moved here to be close to the city and be able to do all these things. This is literally right here, in my backyard, and up close, and you can get much more connected and up close and personal, and also, let's not kid ourselves, the price, I mean, for nothing, it's less than certainly these days, less than a cup of coffee, less than a meal out or whatever.
Big time. I feel like that doesn't, we don't talk about that enough. Not that it's like the number 1 or 2 or 3 thing, but it's a material consideration. There's a palpable difference between like seeing an off-Broadway play and, you're dropping 180, $200 on a couple of, you know what I mean? Like, and then getting into the city and eat, right? Like all of a sudden you're out like a few hundred bones, and like, that's fun. That's cool. Right. Like, nights out, no shade to any of that, but like, that's not what it costs to see a show in our space. And you're getting really high quality work. Like this is not, rinky-dink, community theater work, and no shade to community theaters either or something. But, like this is, we've got real actors and real writers and real directors, real designers, it's a legitimate outfit, and it's a fraction of that Manhattan cost, so that it's worth saying. The first time I've said it today, I probably won't say it again, but yeah, you're 100% right.
Yes, 100%. I just remember it kind of opened my mind, like, wow, I not that I don't still go to the city, of course, but it's such a great way to, for first-time theater goers, younger people, to get exposed, to the theater, as well as people like me that are addicted to all of that. Have a much more convenient, inexpensive, just, It's a no-brainer. I'm sorry.
Big time, big time. So Tracy, I had a little birdie told me that you are the one who came up with "Be a Part of the Drama." Is this true?
It is true.
That's really cool. That you're like I don't know if you're a hoops fan, but you know how like Jerry West was like the logo of the NBA,
Right.
and like that,
Right.
that silhouette is like Jerry West's, body, like doing a crossover or whatever it is. Like that's like you're like a part of the lore. That's really dope. How'd you come up with that? What was the process like? Were y'all like throwing things at the wall and brainstorming, or was it just kind of like a inspiration struck?
Well, branding is something that I do for a living, you know what I mean? So just to be fair, but we go around all of our board retreats and our meetings and our brainstorming sessions, we always try and pinpoint what's important, what are the key, the best things about Miles Square Theater, what's unique about Miles Square Theater, what are the things we want people to know? And it was always about, inclusivity, everyone's welcome here. And so, be a part of the drama. The be a part of part is sort of a call to action of come on in, water's warm. Of course, drama, because it's theater. So it just seemed like a very welcoming way to bring people in, and feel welcome and not intimidated.
Yeah. The water's warm. I love that. It is. The temperature is perfect over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me about Main Street Pops. What are y'all up to right now? What can we look forward to? This late spring or early summer. What are y'all cooking?
Oh, Main Street Pops is popping.
It seems that way.
Yeah. Last weekend we just had our big Earth Day celebration and in town, which was awesome. We've moved to 770 Jackson. We have a new location. We were always under the 14th Street Viaduct, but there's construction and pickleball and all these other things going on there. And so we're loving our new home. It's like big and expansive. 770 Jackson Plaza. It's right behind the Monroe Center, which is where Miles Square Theater started before it had an actual physical theater. So we're loving it. So we actually have an artisan market this weekend, and everyone can go on mainstreetpops.com and see our schedule. We've got a car show coming up in Hoboken along the waterfront on June 8th. Big Hudson River showcase. And that'll be the third year we're doing that. And it just totally it literally shows off that incredible skyline. We have the best view of New York City. I don't care what anyone says.
I completely agree. Yeah.
So we'll have 100 vintage and exotic cars on the.
Oh, that's sick. That's fun. Where are they gonna park afterwards though?
Yeah, true. But it'll be really fun.
That's amazing. Very cool. So here's a question for you about just like theater at all. We're here trying to raise some money for a theater. The year's 2025. Many hundreds of theaters have closed all over the country across the last half decade. It's kind of almost an endangered species in a way. It feels, and that's a bummer for those of us who like know how special it is and who value those interactions and that sharing, being part of those stories, observing and participating, all of that. What would you say to someone who's like kind of like a casual, they go to theater like every once in a while, like maybe they go to see like The Lion King when their little cousins from Ohio are in town or something, right? But otherwise, like theater's not their thing, and they don't poo-poo it or something like that. But they're mostly like at home watching stuff on Netflix, and that's fine too, right? Like but in terms of like how urgent it is to keep organizations like ours, in the black and like on the path to sort of still being an important, healthy civic institution, like why should they give us their money today? Like we need their money. Like, what's the pitch?
Yeah, I mean, I think really what you said first is that there are so many theaters that have closed, and we're still standing for a reason. I think it's such an important, whether you're into theater, or maybe you like Broadway shows more, or maybe you like art. Like I just saw not that long ago, I saw the Whitney and saw this incredible exhibit on Alvin Alley, which is dance, but then all of it is anything beautiful. You see a sculpture, you see it's all the arts and something. What touches you? Think about what touches you. Maybe it is a movie, maybe it is a game, but these are you need to support the people that create these things. And I think it brings people together. We're so disconnected these days, no matter what side of the politics and whatever, small local theater brings your community together, and it allows you to maybe understand other people, which I think is so important to be able to, shift and just open your mind. And how about entertainment and escape? Which I know, if you're not a theater person, everyone wants to be entertained and escaped. And isn't it nicer to be in a small theater with like 100, people from the surrounding area than sitting alone in front of your laptop for the 800th hour, scrolling or streaming Netflix. And it's just a much more personal, connected experience. So, and we've got something for everyone, because we do, Broadway night, and we have Seventh Inning Stretch at Miles Square Theater, which is for sports people, So,
there's family stuff, there's holiday fare, there's, there's sort of like the intimate, tense dramas, we really do get after all of it. There's something about that, like, I know, I feel like we've used the phrase around like, sitting next to strangers in the dark, or or whatever, like that experience of like, but like that's valuable. Like, and from an empathy perspective, a lot of the time it's like, oh, what did this show teach me about humanity, right? So and obviously the first focus is the show. I'm sitting here receiving a thing that somebody wrote, and then a half dozen other people sort of brought to life, and now they're sharing it. But the person I'm sitting with, and maybe I have my partner here, but maybe there's a stranger there, right? It's like we're getting to know each other in a new way, even if we don't say a word to each other. And the fact that we sort of, like that show happens 21 times, 22 times across those 4 weeks. Like they're never, each one is different.
Different every time.
Each performance, right? So it's like the 110 people in that room, whatever it is, like they experience something fully unique. Like it cannot be repeated.
No, it's true. And also, I think there's something about that communal experience that, again, we're missing these days. They've done all those studies on happiness studies, and they always talk about when there's like a close community and people taking care of each other. I'm a crier on a good day. I mean, I cry at commercials, I cry at everything. So I remember recently, it was a movie, and it was actually in the theater, and the lights went up, and the woman behind me and the woman next to me, we were all crying. We didn't know each other. We were just like, oh my God, did you just love it? And it was just this moment, or when you're literally in the theater and you just hear, and it's like that collective, because something shocking happens, or people, you know what I mean? Like you can hear other people reacting in a similar way. And there's that connectivity that I think we're craving these days. Truly.
I think so too. And I think a lot of people don't even necessarily know that they are, or it doesn't feel accessible. It doesn't feel like there's like an easy solution or something, but something about live theater, it's magic, and it provides that, or it can. Anyway, Tracy, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your time. Thank you for your immeasurable contributions to our space and our community. Appreciate you very much.
Oh, thank you, everybody. Donate now. Come on.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Do it.
Okay.
Do it. Thank you so much. Thanks again. Where are we? There's the link. Oh, Melissa. How you doing? So for those of you tuning in, my name is Gabriel Diego Hernandez. We are raising money today for Miles Square Theater during Hudson Gives. The QR code flashes up here and there. You can also, if you don't have a second device handy, you can go to hudsongives.org. You search for Miles Square Theater. That's theater with an R-E, the fancy way. Today, our next guest, Melissa Shepard, also on the board of trustees and the chair of the Programming and Education Committee. Welcome. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? I've been watching, and it's been so nice to hear everyone chat.
Yeah.
It's like you're going deep on Hoboken nostalgia, and yeah, I love it. I'm here for it.
We're doing it. Where are you zooming in? Not zooming in. Where are you StreamYarding in from?
I am here from my apartment, and some of you could probably even see it through the window if you're from Hoboken. It's one of these I hate to say soulless high rises, but you know, I've been here since 1998 and I've been in a lot of apartments, so I feel like
You
you
earned it.
know,
Dang
I
it.
get a pass. I don't
Yeah,
know, I get a pass for my soulless high rise with
you've
amenities. Yeah.
you've been in town for over a quarter of a century. You live wherever the hell you want.
Thank you.
How's your spring? How's your spring going? What are you working on? This? Are you writing? You writing right now? What are you doing?
I am. I'm okay, again, a little cringy. I'm a student again, and I'm getting an MFA in poetry.
Let's go. What's cringy about that? It's amazing.
Well, it's just like, yeah, it's not cringy. It's just like, you know, I feel a little, my brain has like the wheels are turning, the smoke comes out. It's like a little rusty, a little old to be doing this, but you know, actually, it's just, I'm inspired to be in the arts community any way I can. And I feel like in a roundabout way, I started going back, although poetry was my kind of first love in the arts, and
Yeah.
I did it a lot as an undergrad. It was then my experience with theater that brought me back to it. Like during the pandemic, I thought about those really authentic, meaningful moments that I had as a teenager with acting. And one of them was doing a dramatic reading of poetry in my high school. And I just thought like, oh, if I could just get back to that feeling. And I know many of us had those moments during the pandemic. That was the one good thing to come out of it. But yeah, and just the greater appreciation for theater and the arts, and it all goes together.
That's really beautiful. That's cool. It's so cool that you do it. It's brave, yo. It takes a lot. I feel like it takes a lot of humility to like go back to school as as a properly cooked adult and just like, you know, sort of be like stumbling again, right? You've like figured your life out in like a million categories, and then you're just like, you might as well be you and a seventh grader like have a lot in common all of a sudden again, right? It's like,
well, it's funny because I have a college freshman, my son, in the family, and so it's like parallel worlds, you know. And it's like I'm jealous of his experience, but then I'm like, oh, okay, but I appreciate it now. He appreciates it, but I'm like, now I'm really paying attention, and it really matters to me.
That's dope.
So yeah, and I have a high schooler here too. So we're all like in stages of being a student.
Yeah.
And I use them as my editors, and they're really good. Like they're like how it would be in a poetry workshop. They're like, I love what they lead with the positivity, you know, as you do as like an educator in the performing arts, as you know, I love this, I love that. I wonder if maybe you would think about doing this. And I'm like, I love this. I love that they get it. Like it's your first thing, support always. And then you try to come in with like the really insightful comment. Yeah.
That's cool. How many years is the program and how far in are you?
Yeah, it feels like forever. It's 2.5 years.
Okay.
And I'm like halfway.
All right.
So
yeah. Are you doing the summer, or you get the summer off?
Oh no. This is a kind of a torturous thing because a new semester starts Memorial Day weekend.
What?
And yeah, I know. It's like, how dedicated are you? So when everyone I know is like hitting the water for the first time and just, you know, I don't know, roaming around the park, feeling the spring, summer vibes, I'm going to be in a classroom for a week. Yeah. In Louisville, Kentucky, believe it or not. So
for real?
Yep. That's where we go and we do what we call the residencies. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So just when everyone else is like winding down, like Miles Court Theater is, you know, just closing the books on a great season. All the wheels are turning. I said wheels turning again. This is the second time. For the next season, which we're like really, really at the finish line there with picking everything. And you know, all the kids are out of school, they're playing basketball at Elysian Park, and I see them and I'm just like, okay, I chose this and I can't handle the sun anyway, so I might as well be inside.
Tell me about this. Tell me about the season. What that process was like. So y'all are there's a particular committee that sort of meets and approves or gives or budget, like what, you know, what's that like, in terms of?
Yeah, so I'm on the learning curve here because we have we all are, because we have a slightly new structure, and we're always trying to, this.
Yep.
We're always trying to refine, and honestly, you've got the education and down pretty well. So what I've been doing as the committee chair, it's more the programming side right now than the education. And so we have this new structure where it's like 3 of us, Elizabeth, our executive director, and our new artistic director in residence, and me, we all sign off on what the season's going to be. So I'm feeling like, a lot of responsibility there, and just really enjoying working with those 2 ladies to like, well, what about this? What about this? And yesterday came across my email, like what I think is a brilliant idea for us to do. So I can't wait to share that, and just try to like dipping into the what's in the zeitgeist, and we've got some very important. I'll just say we have like very important sporting events coming up in our area, and I also just have to say I'm feeling some Knicks energy today. I woke up, I'm feeling like way optimistic about the arts, and like, come on guys, we can feel good. We don't have to feel down all the time.
We got this.
Like, we can make things happen, and like I'm almost at my goal for my fundraising goal, and I hope to go past it, but like that didn't happen last year. That was like all day. So I'm like, yes, we don't have to worry about the Knicks. We can focus on the arts today. Like, I don't know. It's just
Are you a big Knicks fan?
I am, but like honestly, I'm forced into it a little bit because my husband and my daughter are insane, and my son was like calling in from college, like, "Oh my God, can you believe that?" Because it's like a dream scenario so far. What's happening?
Stealing two on the road against the one of the dominant teams the last years. Yeah, that's not nothing to sniff at.
Yeah, and like the New York energy, New York, New Jersey energy, like, I don't know. I'm feeling it lately. I love spring in this area. I grew up here. I love the kids all roaming around, when the weather is good, and they're in their little packs in Hoboken and all around Hudson County.
For sure.
I don't know. It's a vibe today.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm loving the t-shirts. You and Anne, I saw in your t-shirts. I'm very jealous. I wore black just to like pretend I had a t-shirt. Yeah. So I want one.
You got to go. We got extras. We'll get you one.
I hope so.
Anne was just making a message about the Warriors. That's that NorCal vibe.
Oh, get out of here.
Let's hope Steph Curry comes back from the hamstring injury quickly. And now, we don't want anyone to lose because of injury.
No,
we want them to lose fair and square.
That's amazing. But come on, we gotta just be all about the Knicks today.
For sure. Melissa, how long have you been on the board at MST?
Good question. The last time we were talking about this, me and Nora both were like, I don't know, we were here like the same day, I feel like. And it's been probably like 2 years. Okay. Yeah, I came on summer, so coming up on 2 years. But there's been like so much activity happening in those 2 years. It's really, time is very fluid.
It is.
And as you get older.
Big time.
more and more.
I feel like the theater also has it's at an interesting inflection point in its history, or it's been a couple of important years. Not obviously every 2-year, 3-year window matters, but in terms of just like things sort of shifting and coming out of like one era and into another, and figuring out like who we want to be and who we are in the community, even just like what community we represent. This is something Elizabeth and I have spoken a lot about, and I think I think a lot of us have been sort of having conversations around like, yes, we're a theater in Hoboken. Yes, the people of Hoboken matter to us, and right, but like beyond that, right, like what does it mean to be a theater that serves an entire county or region, or just being like a professional regional theater in New Jersey at all, right? Like regardless of like city boundaries or whatever. You know, so it's cool. It's a cool moment to sort of like be sort of in real time figuring out like how we want to represent who we are, you know, to our público, you know, to our people.
It's really true. And I mean, honestly, I think some of the trouble with that is that we're really blessed with having kind of not unique, but like a really dynamic, diverse community. And as soon as you think you've got it down, like, oh, okay, this is who then you're like, no, wait, but we have this whole other part of our community we can reach out to. So it's sort of like endless, the outreach that we could do.
Yeah.
And so it's always like, ooh, what about this? What about this? What about this? And that can feel overwhelming, but it's also like an incredible opportunity. And I don't know, people always talk about Queens, how diverse it is and all the languages you hear. And for my money, Hudson County rivals that, you know, and that's one of the beautiful things. And I love that about the county more than I love that about Hoboken, because Hoboken has some work to do in my mind, still bringing everybody into the you know, the arts fold. But I just feel like the community in general is so rich, so talented. We always have artists from New Jersey either teaching or performing at MST. And you know, it's just like, it's a deep bench going back to, okay, well, that's baseball really when I'm thinking about that. But you know, the sports metaphors, they work.
Hey, they do. They do.
They apply to everything. Yeah, completely.
No, 100%, Melissa. I'm with you. I'm doing a little bit of work with an organization called the Inheritance Theater Project. That's been in Hoboken since the fall. And there's a woman who I met through there named Lori, who is like a choreographer and, you know, like long time sort of like dance person. And she really loves the waterfront. She walks the waterfront every day for you know, a good amount of time. And she counts the languages that she hears in a just, you know, 20-minute walk across the Hoboken waterfront. And I agree that Hoboken's got some work to do class wise. But if we're just talking about like, where are we all from? You know, like she comes, she's like, yeah, I heard 11 languages today, like in just the last half, right? I mean, like there's, you know, there's people from a lot of different places that sort of like converge, you know, in this town and just more broadly speaking, the county at large. So it's cool, the puzzle of it all, trying to sort of like, all right, like,
it is a puzzle.
What are they like? What are they up to? What are they, you know, like, let's make different kinds of art that welcome different sort of sections of that.
The whole thing is a puzzle too, because, you know, even with the 4 main stage productions that we do every year, it's like, if you have a great idea around one thing and that changes, then it comprehensively changes the entire slate. So you're like, okay, but if we do this, does that mean we shouldn't do this other thing? Or, you know, we're always trying to balance that and figure out what's going to speak to the community, what's going to get the amazing professionals we have on staff and who come in to perform and teach, what's going to get them excited, and, you know, what's going to challenge, but also like, we need to be entertained. We need a laugh. We need to remember how strong we are and how, you know, you watch the news and it's a downer, obviously, but then you walk on the waterfront and you're like, oh, wait, but okay, all these people are here and they all look different and they all speak different languages and they all love their families and they're all doing the best they can. And aren't we lucky to not only have an amazing view and the mighty river there, but we get all the people who walk through and find value in our community. And then if we can bring them into the theater, it's like magic. It's just magic.
Damn right. Yeah. Well, yo, Melissa, thank you so much for joining, for sharing your time and for all the work you do behind the scenes to keep our theater, you know, cooking and you know.
We're cooking. I love that.
Interesting things. Yeah, hell yeah, it matters. Yeah, appreciate you. Good luck with your masochistic Memorial Day weekend plans. It's
thank you so much.
We will be barbecuing while you.
I was gonna say barbecue, hit the beach. Yeah.
No doubt. Appreciate you.
Same. Bye. Thanks so much.
Homies. Hope you guys are having as much fun as I am. This is a treat. Just checking in. For those of y'all just joining, my name is Gabriel Diego Hernandez, and I'm hosting a live stream throughout the day for Miles Square Theater through Hudson Gives. It's an annual event sponsored by the Hudson County Chamber of Commerce to support nonprofits to raise money. Miles Square Theater is raising $30,000. Did I stutter? $30,000 to offset the many unpredictabilities. Read between the lines there, friends. The many unpredictabilities of a small but professional nonprofit theater. It's an act of faith, and we do it with steady and hopeful partners like you. You know the drill. Scan me. Scan me. You see that QR code? Get that phone out. You can also go to hudsongives.org and search for Miles Square Theater. And if you're just tuning in, you're in for a treat. I am joined right now by Ariel Leger, who is our resident stage manager at Miles Square Theater. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Gabe. Thanks for doing this.
Let's go. We out
Represent.
Here. You are the one that handed me this shirt.
Am I?
Yeah. In the spring of 2023. You were like, here. And I was like, oh, thank you. How you doing? Where are you joining us from?
Yeah, I'm at my home in Jersey City, so I am close and local, and I'm so stoked. I've been watching the live stream all morning. It's been so awesome to see you chatting with everybody. Let's get that coin for Miles Square Theater.
Let's get it. Where are we at? We're almost at 13K. Come on now. Let's get it. How's the crib? How are the boxes?
Good. Yeah. So as Gabe knows, I just moved within Jersey City to another apartment with my partner, and we are finally, I will say, like 90% unpacked. It's very nice.
That's a good percentage. All right. So for y'all who are watching, let me and don't know, and even for those who do, just a reminder of what Ariel is to us, right? Like what it means to be resident stage manager. Like anytime I don't know what to do about anything at all, I holler at Ariel like, yo, so sorry to bother you, but like X, Y, and Z, how do I find this? Where does this live? How do I fix this? What's the policy around that? Right? Like Ariel is like the skeleton key of the whole operation. How did it come to be that way? Like, what was it like at the beginning? How many years in are you? How many shows have you stage managed? Like, what does a stage manager do for in layman's terms for the folks who don't know what's what?
Yeah, totally. I mean, honestly, I think the answer to how did it come to be this way is that I've just been kicking around for a long time. And at some point I just started to know where everything was and have a lot of keys to everything.
Yeah.
So I think that's how that happened. But yeah, I think my first show with MST, I was hired on as a wardrobe assistant for, I believe it was 2015, for our waterfront production of A Midsummer Night's Dream. I was a wardrobe assistant to the illustrious and wonderful Peter Fogel, an amazing costume designer. And I just showed up and I took measurements and washed costumes. And that was kind of my whole first season at MST.
Wow, that's cool.
And since then I've been lucky enough to have almost every conceivable department within the theater. I've had a job in there somewhere. I became a teaching artist for many years. You and I are going to be teaching together this summer. Super excited about that. I've acted on our stage. I'm a performer. I've directed some of our student productions, and yeah, I've just been really fortunate to be involved with all aspects of our theater. And I think that's something that's wonderful about a small community-based professional organization like this, is that there is room for you to learn and grow as an artist, and to experiment with different departments.
That's really cool. That's amazing. You did you did direction, additional direction for one of the shows this past season, right? Which one was it? Was it the
I did former artistic director Kevin Arfree and I directed The Christmas Show Must Go On together, which was really cool and fun. I loved like getting that experience with Kevin and like learning from him as like such an established and brilliant director. It was awesome. That's
cool. What is your balance? What, like, you got dance, are you like, in terms of like how much time you dedicate to each of your like disparate hustles, like, are you like as an active performer still, how do you sort of determine like what percentage of you goes to this versus that, and making that all work?
Yeah, that's a great question. Honestly, my time management skills had to become honed, which is like something that's useful to me as a stage manager, because for those who don't know, stage managers like set the schedule, they keep things on track. We're like the organizers of the backstage of a production.
Hold on, I'm going to interrupt for 1 second. When I get offered roles in plays, doesn't happen very much anymore, but when I get offered roles in plays and there's not a stage manager, I run for the hills. I run in the other direction. Like, don't ask me to come play if there's not a stage manager in the outfit. Continue.
Thank you. Yeah, stage managers are important. Not everybody sees us, but like, often we're the ones in the booth pressing the buttons to make the things happen on stage, or at least calling it for board ops. So it's, it's an important but like lesser known job. But then I am also fortunate that like I'm very involved with the Brooklyn nightlife scene. Like I work at House of Yes a lot. I'm a musician. I'm working on an EP right now. It should be coming out before the end of the year. You can catch me on Spotify. But like, there's like a lot of things going on, and there's not enough hours in the day or enough coffee to power those hours. But it's really just about like finding the balance of like chasing what brings me artistic fulfillment, brings me joy, brings me enough money to pay my rent, but also like what I feel moves my community towards what's important, particularly in these times. Like, I don't want to make art just because I want to make art that like has something to say and has something to do for our community that like betters it and moves it towards a common goal. Yeah, damn right. That's really cool. Where can we find you on social media or on Spotify? What do we search for those? Just look for my name. There's not a lot of French Canadian names rolling around down here in the States, but that's not true. There probably are, but you can look for Ariel Leger. I'm on Spotify. I'm on Instagram. You can find me. You can follow my stuff. No doubt. So here's a fun fact about you that I don't think a lot of the people in the MSC world know. And it's your child actor past, the national tour stuff. Is that something like, can you give us like a little insight into like what that world was like? You were in the national tour of To Kill a Mockingbird. Is that what it was? Yeah, I was in the Canadian production of To Kill a Mockingbird. I did a lot of work out of my hometown theater, Neptune Theater in Halifax, Nova Scotia. But I started acting professionally when I was 9, and I have been involved with the theater world ever since. Like it's been my whole entire life, this career and like this passion. And I honestly wouldn't have it any other way. Like, growing up in a theatrical community and like growing up in theater spaces and rehearsal rooms was so good for me as a person, not just as an artist. Like, theater, it teaches you community, it teaches you to problem solve, like it brings people together in a way that I think is so crucial right now, and in a way that is like so at odds with like our current government's lack of investment in the arts. Like, it's just so important for kids, it's important for families, it's important for adults. Like, there's no losing from getting involved with theater. It's going to be good for you. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it pushes you to like learn things that are hard. Theater makes you a better person, and I have experienced that for my whole life. That's really cool. I can't wait to jump in July with you. So what we're doing, Ariel and I,
will be Ariel is directing, and I am doing the musical direction. I'll be tickling the ivories and teaching songs, and Ariel will be, you know, making the whole freaking thing happen. We're going to be doing the Pirates of Penzance in July with a group of like 7 to 12-year-olds or 7 to 13-year-olds there or thereabouts. It's an ambitious show. I was sort of like forget. I'd like mention it to a couple of people who like know Gilbert and Sullivan or just like know theater in general, and they give me like a look like, oh, like there's not a lot of dialogue in that show. Like that's just a full operetta. Like, well, you know, like can those kids like sing? And I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't matter. Like we're gonna, you know what I mean? Like we're gonna
find out.
We're gonna play no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but so that we're gonna be doing like a 4-week summer stock theater camp. With that show as the sort of mission, and they're gonna get in day one, and we're gonna just play and explore, and then you know, that thing will be cast like within a couple of days, and then we'll just be rehearsing and learning things and you know, performing at the end of week 4. What's your have you started thinking about like that process or you know, how you show up to a sort of to that kind of work? What stage you feel like?
Yeah, totally. I've had a similar experience of like every time I talk to friends who know theater, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to teach Pirates of Penzance. I'm going to direct and choreograph Pirates of Penzance for kids. They're like, for kids? But I think that we are going to have an amazing time. I think the kids are going to have an amazing time, because the thing about kids, particularly theater kids, particularly kids in the arts, is that if you present them a challenge, they will rise to it. Like they can do more than anybody thinks that they can. Like they're so amazing. Theater kids are the best kids in the world. I mean, I know I'm biased, but like they're so amazing. I've been teaching for so many years now, since I graduated like over 10 years ago. Like I've been in this teaching artist grind, and I'm constantly amazed by the resourcefulness and the skill and like just the passion of theater kids. They can do it, I believe. And one thing that's really special and unique about our program, even in our small community, is that we're like a real process over product program. Like it's really about what we can give the kids as people and as artists, and what they can learn and grow, more than like, oh, this show has to be the best thing ever. And like, don't get me wrong, the show's gonna be awesome, but also the kids are gonna come out on the other side having like grown and become better, more mature, more well-rounded people. And that's like really the heart of our program and what makes our program so special. So I'm super, super excited to dive in with you on that.
Yeah, it's a treat. I'm so glad that we're going to be working together. There's something about, you know, I think I was just thinking what you said about like what the theater kid is, you know, like DNA wise, you know.
Theater kids get a bad rap, but they're very special kids.
They are, you know, and I also think like that any kid could be a theater kid. Not every kid winds up doing it, you know, but totally. You know, I think I was talking to Rachel about this. Like a lot of the theater kids that I knew growing up, and a lot of kids that I know now, didn't even necessarily arrive into the theater kid designation because they were like, I love acting. Some of them, yeah. And that was me. I was like, where's my light? Right. Like, you know, but a lot of, but I feel like the majority of them like sort of wound up there like from a like community, like focused perspective, more so than even like the art itself. Like, yes, lots of them love Hamilton or whatever. Right. And like, that's worthy and that's fun. And that's a sweet entry point. Right. But like, I think a lot of them are like, hey, we're like a little weird maybe, or like we're like a little bit different, and like this is a safe place for us to be that, or like this is, you know, this is a place where like people get taken care of instead of like getting yelled at, or like this is a place where we can sort of just sort of be ourselves, like whatever that means, and sort of support in the creation of something regardless of what skills they don't have or don't have yet. So people sort of like are drawn to stagecraft or whatever, right? Like, you know, or just learning a particular skill because they're just like, because like the vibe is one of like communalism and safety, and like how sacred that is, like the sanctity of a space that, you know, for people of all ages. I like, you know, that theater kid category is permanent, right? Like we remain theater kids, you and I, right? Like, and it continues to be important to sort of be in places where we can be our full selves and like tell stories and explore and, you know, just share those moments.
Yeah, 100%. And like theater kids, like kids who are in theater, kids who take theater classes, we're not expecting all of them to become Broadway stars. Like, it's not about a pipeline that puts kids into a theatrical career necessarily. It's awesome when that does happen.
Yep.
But taking theater classes as a kid, it's going to make you better at any job that you go forth and do in life. It's like I was saying earlier, it teaches you collaboration. It teaches you public speaking. It teaches you confidence in yourself. Like, taking a theater class is never going to be bad for a kid, no matter what they end up doing in the future, you know?
100%, 100%. Well, yo, Ariel, thank you so much for joining. You're the best. Appreciate you. And I'll see you in a couple of days when we like go into storage to like,
to start looking for costumes.
Yeah. Have a good rest of your day. Appreciate you sharing your time today.
Thank you so much, Gabe. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, yo.
Keep donating, everybody. Let's do it.
Come on. We're almost at 14K, baby. Let's do this thing. Okay, if you've just joined, we have had 13 really interesting, wonderful conversations so far, and there's 3 more to go in this particular segment, and then we'll be back in with a few surprises starting at 4:30. We're not going anywhere yet, though. Again, for those of you joining, my name is Gabriel Diego Hernandez. I'm the Education Director at Mile Square Theater, and I'm hosting a live stream today to support Mile Square Theater in its goal to raise $30,000. My next guest, oh, there she go. My next guest is a really special person. So Ellen Webster first came to Mile Square Theater to see Rabbit Summer, and the rest is history. Ellen, welcome. I think you're muted, unless my sound is messed up. Oh, yep, I hear you now.
You hear me? Okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Gabe. It's nice to meet you.
It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
Where are you joining us from today?
I'm looking at the Whitney Museum. So I'm also in a high-rise apartment down 14th Street, right near the theater.
Okay, cool. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you I'm trying to figure out where to begin with you, because like the stuff you're up to is pretty legendary. Let's start at the beginning of our relationship with you as an institution. You came to Rabbit Summer.
Yeah.
How'd you find out about it? Like, how did you experience that show? What were you motivated to do afterwards? Like, why, you know, of all the audience members who came to Rabbit Summer, like, why are we talking to you right now?
So I was looking at New York theater listings, and it came up as I don't know if it's considered off-Broadway or off-Broadway, but it appeared in my listings in New York. And I said, what? There's a theater like down the street? So we didn't know anything about the show. My husband and I got tickets and we went, and we were stunned with the quality of the show and moved by that particular show. Was so powerful. And there it was down the street, and just fell in love.
Yeah. Shouts to Tracy Conyer-Lee, the writer. Shouts to my homegirl, Ricky Lene, one of the actors in there. That whole trio, they were really amazing.
Yeah.
So you're like are you like a theater head? Do you go to like tons and tons of shows? Like, I know this, we can get into the letter writing thing in a second, but you know, what's your relationship to the theater in general?
I did not grow up with any theater. I grew up in Central Maine, and the first show I saw was The Unsinkable Molly Brown at the University of Maine, probably in middle school. But what I also was exposed to was pictures of my father, who was had done a lot of theater while he was growing up. So I saw pictures, but I didn't really get it. We went to a lot of movies, but theater was nothing that was available unless we went to the university and saw it. But I did fall in love with it. And so I did a minor in college at the University of New Hampshire in nonprofit theater management, and spent a lot of time at what was Theater by the Sea there, where I got to meet one of the most extraordinary men I've ever met in my life, Harold Clurman, who had helped start a very progressive theater in New York in the 30s, and then went on to do theater criticism for decades in New York. And he was giving a one-day class on how to review community theater. And every piece of white space was filled by the time I left there that day. And I ended up doing a master's thesis on him.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really amazing. So then you went into you interviewed, I mean, you've interviewed lots of really amazing people. I was looking at your bio, and I saw, you see the name James Earl Jones. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
what was that? Like, how did you wind up in those spaces? And, what were some of those conversations like?
So I did get to interview a few people, and I went to a lot of theater in Boston when I was editing the Boston Parents paper. But James Earl Jones had come to Boston to promote a children's show he was doing. And so he was taking interviews, because that's what you do when you need to publicize something.
Sure, yeah.
And so I had probably 45 minutes in a hotel room with him, and he was just divine. And he was certainly very skilled at meeting you where you were. I was not a celebrity interviewer by any means, and he was kind and he was generous. And he told me that essentially he was a troubadour, and he just went from one job to another. And that's what he did. He was a troubadour out there doing it no differently than people had done it for hundreds of years.
Wow. That's special.
It was special.
That's so cool. For those of you who are joining us, I'm having a conversation right now with Ellen Webster. And if there's like one insane fun fact about Ellen Webster, and we haven't like fully said it yet, it's that she is in the midst of writing 10,000 thank you notes.
Yes.
And you'll be done. Not that you're never done, right? But like you'll hit that threshold in June right now.
Yeah.
Is that correct? How did that begin? Because that's remarkable. That's a really like beautiful thing to dedicate yourself to.
Well, I grew up with a mother who insisted that I write thank you notes for everything, from a casserole to a relative visiting. Yeah. And so thank you notes never went away, but they became obligatory. And then in 2014, I read a book and I jotted down, John Kralik wrote A Simple Act of Gratitude. And he talked about the change in his own life from writing one thank you note a day. And I said, I can do that. And I love writing, and this is a great short form. And I had lots of attention I could give to anybody, anything. There was the beauty of writing a thank you note is that there is no job, no observation that is too small to be noticed and kind of shine a spotlight on. And right now I'm working on writing every theater I can locate in the United States and thanking them for what I think is probably an increasing role that they have in bringing education of empathy and independent thinking, and showing somebody how to step in another person's skin and experience maybe something that we don't have going on in our own life. And I think theater is so uniquely capable of doing that. And I've certainly seen it right up the road at the Hoboken Theater.
Yeah. I'm getting emotional. That's a really beautiful thing that you're doing. Has anyone thanked you for that?
Wow. Yeah. Probably no more so than after this most recent election. I've started getting a lot of replies because what I'm asking people for is to acknowledge that what they're really doing is bringing our humanity to bring it to life on stage. And I think that touches people. And I'm hearing from a lot of theaters around the country as I kind of move through each state. And I heard from an amazing theater in Nashville that works between Vanderbilt University and this theater, and they're actually researching what is the impact of people who are on the stage with neurodivergent abilities, as well as how do the other people on the stage, how does this change their lives, and how does it change the life of the audience? So there are theaters out there just doing focused work, general work, community work, children's work, and yeah, I'm hearing from a lot of them. Yeah,
that's amazing. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for seeing us.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what next season's going to be.
Yeah. We're excited too.
Yeah.
Tell me about your business. It's called Age Buoyantly. Is that right? Age Buoyantly.
Age Buoyantly. I've started it here in Hoboken, where I work with women or those who identify as women 60 plus, so that we are going to change the narrative of what it means to be an aging woman in this society. Because for women, aging starts probably in the 20s when you start hearing this message of, well, are you going to have children? Are you going to do this? And I think women are uniquely poised to also push back on that and say, I can script this myself. By the time we get to our 60s, we have a lot of habits. And I think sometimes it just takes someone holding up a mirror to say, are you sure this is the way you want to do it? Are you sure you don't want to live bigger right now? You have my permission and I can help you get there. So that's what this business is all about. But it's also about building a community of people like-minded women who want to enlarge what it means to be an older person in this society.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's really dope. Where do we find that for people who want to go to the website or check out, read more about your work?
Oh, that's nice of you to offer that. It's simply my name, Ellen Webster, like the dictionary, ellenwebster.com. And Age Buoyantly will come up at you with me sitting in the water. Yeah.
Let's get it. ellenwebster.com, Age Buoyantly.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What do you got any plans this summer, Ellen? What do you do with yourself when it gets warm?
Do a lot of diving. So my husband and I will go back to Bonaire, which is a small island that is very easy on aging bodies, and spend a lot of time underwater. Where I will have my note cards with me and I will be writing notes.
Yeah. That's amazing. What do they speak in Bonaire? Is that Dutch? Do they speak Dutch?
It is a Dutch island, yeah.
Oh, I think I've been there. I think I was there when I was an infant, actually. I have like a memory of my parents.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember it.
What makes it nice is, besides the incredible life that you see under the water and the privilege of just being there for, half an hour at a time, is that there are no sandy beaches to speak of. So it's mostly people who really want to be diving or want to be looking at the coral to find ways to help preserve it.
That's amazing. That's an amazing thing to do.
Yeah.
Listen, Ellen, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your generosity and for just the ways you are lifting.
Thank you. And I would just challenge everyone to send the theater a thank you note, because I don't know, I haven't really worked in theater, but I'm guessing that hearing from people can make a huge difference in how you feel about the hard work you're doing.
It does. Even just hearing that it's happening.
Yeah.
Makes a difference. Like that's a mitzvah that you are doing.
Thank you.
Pleasure meeting you, and thanks for sharing your time with us.
I'll see you on stage.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.
Wow, yo, she was cool. This format, it brings people that you wouldn't otherwise meet or come across. Much like theater at all, right? Like I feel like, you don't normally sit next to strangers in the dark. That's kind of a terrifying premise in most contexts. But there's something about being in the theater where the safety is guaranteed, and then you can open yourself up to being moved and sharing these profound moments where humanity is being examined. Anyway, for those of you joining, we got a couple of guests left. in this like little lunchtime segment. My name is Gabriel Diego Hernandez. I'm live streaming today to support Mile Square Theater. We're on the road to 30K. We're almost halfway there. We got 14 and change. Keep those donations coming. They make a difference now more than ever. We need to find each other and band together. And we learn that by meeting new people, by imitating each other. These really sort of playful, childlike activities that we do naturally from the age of just a few months old. Like they still matter into adulthood. They matter right now. We're doing them at the bottom of the viaduct, Mile Square Theater in Hoboken, New Jersey. And I'm really honored to welcome our next guest, Chris Cragen-Day, the artistic director in residence at Mile Square Theater in day 8.
Yeah.
New job.
Yes.
Yes. Welcome.
Hey, thank you.
We're so excited. We're so excited for the Chris Cragen-Day era. This is we're pumped. We're pumped to have you in the mix and at the helm and yeah. Wow. How has it been so far? What I know you were doing stuff in April, so it's not like a week on the job, but yeah. What's it like? What's it been like so far?
I just feel so lucky to have such an amazing team, and you're a part of that team. But I feel like I'm stepping into just a beautiful community that's already set up for me to come in and just continue the good work that's being done, because it's not about me. It's about, as you were just saying, it's about doing work that brings strangers together into a room where we witness our common humanity. We go on an emotional journey together, and we look at each other and we're like, you know what? There's a lot we have in common in this life. And and that's the work. And so we want to do shows that does that brings people together and reminds them what it means to be human. And you guys have been doing that work at Mile Square Theater before I ever joined in. So I just feel honored to just continue the good work that's already being done.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, welcome. Mm-hmm. How are you thinking about the your first handful of months or your first year? Like when we, as we sort of get to know you as an artistic director, like what's important for us to know about like how you think about shows at all? What you're moved by, what kind of things you like, what do you bring, in that capacity?
Well, I mean, I'm a playwright. And so for me, it's all about the story, and it's all about stories that I want people to walk out of the theater feeling a little bit different than they were when they entered, which doesn't mean that they have to like completely change their mind about something. It doesn't mean that they have to learn something that they never knew about at all, but something shifts inside of them. They become a little more compassionate towards a certain kind of person, or they just understand something better about themselves that they saw reflected on the stage. And that's what the theater does. And so strong stories that do that are what really, really inspire me. And that can be a comedy, that can be a drama, that can be, hip hop, it can be poetry, it can be a musical. Any genre can do that. It's just really about the story and about that story connecting with the audience. And I think I feel really honored to be in a job like this right now. Most people would say to me, Chris, this is the worst time in the world to be an artistic director of a theater. And in a sense it is, because there's a lot happening right now trying to undercut the arts, right?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, coming out of COVID, I think our country and the world more than ever is yearning for, just thirsting for ways to connect with other people. We've been through a time period where people have been forcefully isolated from each other, and we're still recovering from that, as Elizabeth always says. And a huge part of that healing is coming together in person.
Yeah.
Sitting next to people, like you said, strangers that you've never met before, or people that you know and love really well, being in the room with other people and connecting through story. It's just so important. It's so important for our country, but so important everywhere in the world right now. And so I really believe in what we're doing, and I know you do too. And I know the other people at MST do as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. That's so well said. I'm feeling I'm feeling this in person and on social media, both. But I'm feeling like a sense of defiance from the art community. That's pretty cool. It's kind of almost like a galvanizing moment for us, where we like, not to keep talking about COVID, but I guess it like just really mattered, you know. but like, you know, the whole idea of like what work is essential, you know, and like obviously like there's certain you know, there's different ways to define that, and I'm not trying to sort of like whatever compare what we do to being a nurse or something, but like whether like arts to what degree arts is essential in society as a place where people can like heal, like it not like, you know what I mean, and being entertained and things that are frivolous, like, you know, and frivolous art matters too, but you know, but beyond that, just like the opportunity to really like create family and sort of share, you know, in like the sanctity of spaces that support that kind of like bonding. It's crucial. It's crucial for spiritual health.
It is. It's so true. And a lot of those spaces are disappearing. You know, people aren't going to see movies together in community anymore. They're watching them from their home.
Yeah.
Even like church, a lot of churches are live streaming now. People aren't going into the building together anymore. I mean, a lot of those spaces where that good work was happening are disappearing. And it's important that we bring people back together physically in the room together. And that's what theater does that other forms of entertainment doesn't do. Yeah. Theater will always be live. It will always be flesh and blood, because that's what makes it theater. And so when people talk about, you know, theater being an art form that is becoming you know, less supported, I always push back and I say, no, we're about to see a huge revival in the theater, because I think we have reached a crest where younger generations are really like searching for those ways to connect with other people. Theater's gonna be there to fill that space.
I was just about to ask you about the young people in your life. You're a professor at Rutgers. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
When the people you went, is your semester over? When did you finish?
Today was my final exam.
You gave a final today?
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What are the young people who are in the space with you sort of like thinking about their careers and like the terms under which they're going to like, you know, go down this path, or what version of it or whatever? Is there anything that they like, are any of them expressing any like trepidation around it, or is that, you know, like what are the like, you know, what are the 19-year-olds like have to say about the game right now?
What's been really exciting to me is I would say that like 10 years ago, a lot of my students that were studying theater were actually intending in going into film and television. And that's fine. No judgment on that. You know, film and television does some great storytelling as well. But what I'm loving about this generation is that I feel like they're studying theater because they want to do theater. They want to do live performance. And I think that they have intentionally chosen that in a way that previous generations kind of didn't. So that's really, really exciting to me. I mean, this freshman group at Rutgers, Mason Gross School of the Arts, I just loved. And and I teach the theater history class there, so I get the whole group.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Hard. That's a tough school. There's a lot of talent in that room. I know.
Oh, yeah. Some really brilliant young people, brilliant young people. And yeah, it's so exciting. So I, of course, encouraged all of them when they graduated to send me their resumes and their headshots and get involved at Mile Square. So.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. We're going to have you back on in a few hours. Should we wait to talk about the season then, or are we allowed to talk about season now, Elizabeth?
I know, right?
What are we allowed to share with the people about what's coming up? Are we just those two playwrights who are going to be joining us?
Oh, Elizabeth's jumping on.
It's all tease right now, so we'll have a few playwrights, but that's it for now. We'll do a full season announcement in June, and Melissa also alluded to this in her segment. It's been such a delight to work with Chris and Melissa in a new format for selecting a season. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the collaboration element and on the one hand, it's harder to make a group decision. And on the other hand, I think it's been useful for us to play off each other and take each other's comments and doubts seriously, but also enthusiasm seriously. And so I cannot wait to share our season with you, but I want to make sure that our board hears it before the rest of the world, and we're still working out the budgetary elements of it. So we're going to lock up all the pieces. But yes, we have two of the folks that we're going to hear from today. So Chris, I'll turn it back over to you.
No doubt.
Yeah, great.
All right, cool. So we'll hold off on that. Chris, before you and I wrap right now, tell us, I know you've lived like all over the planet. Like give us like a couple of fun facts about your like childhood.
Yeah.
Remind me like where you've called home.
Yeah. So I was born in the Philippines. Most people are very surprised to hear that. And then my family lived in Hong Kong and mainland China until I was about 13 years old. And we were in mainland China during the 80s. So we were there during Tiananmen and, those very early days. And then we moved back to the United States when I was about 13, and home in the United States was Oklahoma. So I did my high school and college years in Middle America, and then moved to New York City after grad school. Wow,
that's a cool journey. How do you think it informed your like you as a storyteller, like you as a playwright and filmmaker in general? That's a rich set of experiences to draw from.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I grew up a third culture kid, which basically means someone that doesn't really belong in the culture where they live, and they don't really belong in the culture where they came from.
Yeah.
And so they belong in this third culture of people who all are in that same weird situation. And so actually, when I saw your short Puerto Rican, I kind of related to that feeling of like not quite being planted in these different cultural worlds. And so I used to, as a playwright, think, you always hear people say that playwrights should write what they know. And I always thought that meant usually when people said that, they were talking about like Horton Foote writing about Texas and Tennessee Williams writing about the South. Mm-hmm. And, like Dominique writing about Michigan, Detroit. Uh-huh. And you write like people writing about where they were from. And I was always like, oh gosh, like I don't have anywhere to write about. And what I've learned over the years of kind of finding my own voice as a writer is that like the third culture kid superpower is that write what you know means write about humanity, like write what you know to be true about the human experience, right?
Yes.
And so that's really been, I think that's the way that has affected me the most. So my plays don't all take place in a certain location or among a certain community of people, but I do think the kind of people that I write about really do speak to what I believe to be true about the human experience.
That's beautiful. Cool. Well, yeah, thank you for sharing. Thanks for sharing that. It's 1:15. I'm gonna let you go, but then I'm gonna reel you back in a couple of hours.
Okay. I think I might be on until 1:45. No, Elizabeth?
I think Joy is joining us at 1:15.
Oh, good. Okay, great.
We're gonna have you back
at 4:30.
At 4:30, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. All right, excited to chop it up and
you're doing great.
Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye, Chris. All right, we are closing in on the end of our little lunch segment. How are we doing? What's our it's Joy. Let me do I have any announcements I gotta say? Nah, we'll do announcements afterwards. I'm gonna get comfortable. Joy Donzi.
Raise the roof.
I'm migrating. This is my first migration of the day. I just
move around.
I've got one conversation left before a little break, and I'm gonna get cozy. I'm gonna talk to my homie. How you doing, Joy?
I'm good. The update, you're doing good.
I'm doing all right.
No, like I'm watching the fundraiser.
Oh yeah, we're doing good. Let's see. Let's go. For those of you just tuning in, we are joined by Joy Donzi. Joy is an actor and a writer and a teaching artist and a director and a dope storyteller who has graced the Mile Square Theater stage. Most recently in 24-hour plays in spring 2024. And before that, in Funny Like an Abortion. I don't remember what year that would have been. But we're going to start there because that's when I first got to know Joy. And all I did the whole way home was just talk to Rachel, my partner, about how much I love Joy because she's just a crazy performer. That show was wild. You were wild in that show. You were ziplining, you were dancing, you were covered in blood. Like you took us on a journey. What was that show like on the inside? Like being in it, because it was crazy for us. Like I was agog watching you work in that show.
I think a couple things. The doing of the show felt, and I know this is like maybe how a lot of shows feel, but this one in particular, because it was a two-hander and the tempo moved so quick and it never slowed down. It felt very much like you jump on the train and then you like pray.
Yeah.
And you hope you stay on. But so I would also say that it was probably the most challenging piece of theater I've ever done. And I would say we only had 2 weeks really to put it up. And I remember at the first preview, I was scared backstage. And I don't really get scared anymore. Like I'm kind of like, it's going to be what it's going to be. I'll figure my way through. No matter if something goes wrong, I got it. But I was kind of terrified. But I liked it. And then afterwards, like after that show, I went off to do a pretty challenging understudy contract where I had to understudy 3 roles in a farce with only 2 weeks on a massive at a massive venue. And I was like, I did Funny Like an Abortion. Like I can actually do anything now. So I really do feel that it gave me that gift of like, I can do anything now. Like,
that's dope. Cut your teeth at Mile Square Theater. Yeah. That's sick.
And shout out to Pearl, who was my co-star, who I trusted very much. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really dope. There's a fun fact about you and that show that I don't think too many people know, and I know you know what I'm going to say. But for some context, this was a show that was not so well attended. And there's a number of reasons why, but if I had to sort of sum it up in one tidy sentence, is that difficult subject matter, and a lot of people were maybe squeamish, or it was a difficult show to market, and there were not so many butts in seats. And sometimes theater makers have to take risks, or good theater makers, daring theater makers, sometimes take risks. So that was a risk we took, and it didn't pan out financially. And that's all right. That doesn't, it was a valuable piece of art making that happened in our space for those couple of months, and a memorable one. Anyway, Joy Donzi, as one of the two actors in that show, did her best to put butts in seats. You told me that you got on Hinge and just started inviting like dates to like, just like people you were connecting with, like, women you were chatting with, just like, hey, like, I'm gonna play, like, if you want to like go on a date with me, like, actually, like, first date is gonna be like coming to check me out in this like crazy ass play. Like, am I describing it accurately?
You are. I mean, like, I had gone through a breakup. The day of our first rehearsal was like 2 weeks after a 5-year breakup. And I wanted to, so like, I was like, I guess I should get on a dating app, which I'd never done before. And as I was on the dating app, I would like chat to people and they'd be like, when can we hang out? And I'd be like, honestly, like, I have Monday nights off. That's it. But if you want to see me, you can like come see this show that I'm in. And it was also kind of like, can you get on the bus? Will you come to Hoboken? Like who are you really? How bad do you want to see me? How bad do you want to meet me? And will you show up for the art if I'm doing it?
Let's go.
I did have some Hinge dates come. One night, the night that we canceled the performance, there was going to be 2 people in the audience. One was my mother and one was a Hinge date. The performance was canceled. Not because of that, not because of the Hinge date, but like, that would have been uncomfortable, I think, for everyone.
That's a shame, because that would have been a great story. But I can't tell if I'm like relieved for you or or I wish it had gone down.
But yes, I was trying really hard to have people come out and see it, and I did have I did feel quite supported by my community.
You're a real one, Joy moves people's. That's a Joy Donzi special.
Thank you.
What are you cooking right now? I know you're whizzing, you're Wizard of Ozing with some young peoples. How's that going?
Well, right now I have a couple balls in the air.
Tuesday, 10th, right?
Tuesday, June 10th.
I'm coming, baby. I'm gonna be there.
It's a bit of a mess right now. The kids are in a place where they're like getting off book, but like now they're trying to put it together, and like we're taking a couple steps backwards, but it's an original adaptation of Wizard of Oz, 23 kids, K through 4. I only get them once a week for an hour and a half. And then I'm doing an original script based off Wicked on Thursdays. And then I am leaving this summer to go do a production of 12th Night. And I'm very excited about that. And then I also just finished my first full-length play. So
Yo.
And I want you to read it. I want you to read it.
Please send it to me.
Yes, I will. I'm drafting the next draft. Like I did the vomit draft, and now I'm in the I'm gonna deepen and like pull our themes together. And if it's not working, it doesn't stay on the page, and like everything has to fight to be there. And I'm starting to like go in as a director and be like, wait, build in a transition here for whatever. So very exciting. Gabe is very inspiring because Gabe is a playwright, original actor, right?
Yeah.
Actor first, and then Gabe's play. Gabe's
scary,
which I loved, but very inspiring. So yeah, we just got to do it.
Yeah, that's it though. That's it. That's sort of I was dealing with like some imposter syndrome on my, like, it took me like almost a decade to like shake off the imposter syndrome of just being like an actor, period. And like being like, is this something that I can like credibly call myself? Like, do I belong? Like, have I earned that label? I felt sort of you know, I felt it was almost like disrespectful to my peers who were like grinding so hard. And I was like, you know, this kind of like Johnny come lately, sort of like screwing around. Oh yeah, I'll go be in a play.
You're
Why
a
not?
playwright now. I agree.
Yeah, right? It's the same
I felt the
thing.
same way, but you know who was the most supportive? Were my friends that are writers.
Yeah. That's dope.
They were the ones that were so stoked for me, so excited. We're like, oh my God, Joy, you have to do it. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, you know, it's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to read. Do you are you in a place where you can share like a little like a 15-second,
Sure.
30-second pitch, or like
I can like share themes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It's definitely about themes are like belief systems, freedom, mental health, spirituality, and authenticity and spies.
Yo! Yes. Those
Very
are good themes.
It's kind of a thriller, like in a way, like it's almost a thriller, but yeah, imposter syndrome was real. And then I just like, I don't know, when you like go see plays, then you just start to realize, you know, that the only difference between you and a writer is like their writing. So just writing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then also like I'll go and I've met so many actors that then like shift over into writing, and I always like love their work. And you know, yeah, I also like direct, so I was just kind of like, you understand story and you understand character, so like get out of your own way and like write the play that you want to see, and write the play that you want to watch, and write the play that you'd want to be in or that you'd want to direct. Like just keep letting it be full circle as you like serve your own inner artist, you serve your community, you create opportunity, you create new stories.
Damn right. Yeah. The spies thing. When we so Joy and I was lucky enough to I was lucky enough to work with Joy in April of 2024, I think it must have been, when we did 24-hour plays. And for those of you that aren't familiar with that construct, is what it is. They took like 6 writers, 6 directors, and 24 actors, and we all got in a room like for a couple of hours one evening, and sort of like, what I didn't realize is that we were sort of like drafted, almost like it was like a baseball team.
I know. I kind of liked it.
Yeah. You know, but so the actors, the prompt that we were given, I was there in an actorly capacity. Joy was there in an actorly capacity. We were given like, hey, what's a kind of role, or what's a thing on stage you've always wanted to do but haven't gotten a chance to do yet. And the thing that I said was that I wanted to tap dance. My brother's a tap dancer. I'm a dancer of no kind. I'm not a dancer at all. But I've been imitating my virtuosic brother for like 30 something years. I've been, so I can fake tap dance.
Gabe's like, a fantastic fake tap dancer.
I think I'm the best fake tap dancer ever. Like I'm gonna say,
was my favorite.
I'm gonna say. So I was like, I want to tap dance, and Joy was like, I want to be a gay spy or a gay fortune teller. Was that it?
It was like I want to be a psychic or a spy, and if they could be gay, that would be my preference.
Even better. Yeah. And the one and only Idaisa Ann Riley, who will be joining us in a few hours, was our playwright. And she was like, "Oh yeah, we could do all that. We could do all that. That's no problem." Idaisa went home that night, wrote that play, a little 10-minute play, and then the next day we got it. It was like we manifested it. It was in my inbox. All of a sudden, there's a play where I'm tapped in. All of a sudden, there's a play where Joy is a queer psychic. And we were stars, and that was on Mile Square Theater stage. That was a really fun weekend. Fun. Yeah. They just finished that festival a few weeks ago. Many of you might have attended. It was a great success. They sort of combined the same concept, 24-hour plays, with 7th inning stretch, which is a long time Mile Square Theater, sort of, baseball tradition. It was really cool. Sort of, they worked well together. The two formats. Joy, we're out of time, which is, I hate that. 15 minutes is not enough, as it turns out.
We did it.
You did do it. Thank you so much for joining, yo. You're the best.
Keep raising money, everybody. Woo!
Yeah.
Support theater.
Let's get those monies in. Let me go back to my desk and see if there are any things I'm supposed to say. Joy, thank you so much for joining us. Joy Donzi, one of our part of the MST family. It's a blessing having you be just that.
Thanks for having me. So glad we got to chat. Bye, everybody.
Okay, we have completed 16 interviews with such incredible people. Mile Square Theater creates a space where people can bring their passion and enthusiasm and empathy to have a shared experience and contribute to the world that we want to live in. We're raising $30K today with your help. Are we 50% there? Not quite. Closing in. I'd love to hit 50% by 2 p.m. Do you think y'all can do that with us? 10, 11. Lost my place. Okay, we'll be back though. We're taking a little break. Am I right? Is that right, Elizabeth?
Nope.
I'm wrong.
Correct. So Emily Jabor is here from Hoboken City Council.
Oh, Emily, yes.
Hi.
Emily, I just want to say thank you for all the help that you've given to Mile Square Theater. I really loved being able to do the destigmatized reading with Planned Parenthood in January. I know you helped make that connection for us, and I know you've been helpful on City Council to help get us moving in the process to have a liquor license so that we can fill out our offerings for shows at Mile Square Theater. It's a huge part of what we're going to be able to do in the new season. So thank you for that work as well. And I know you've been enthusiastic and just like always so excited about what we're doing and happy that we're in town and in Hudson County. And so thank you for all the verve and sponsorship that you've given and all the enthusiasm that you've been generating on behalf of Mile Square Theater. We're thrilled to have you here to talk with Gabe today. And I'm going to go off the screen.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for saving me, Elizabeth. Emily, I almost tried to freeze you out. What's the matter with you?
No, all good. Here I am. Look, I'm ready.
I've got I printed out, you know what I mean? I'm out here scrambling.
You're managing a lot of things right now. You're doing great.
Appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for everything you do for not just the theater, but the town. It's really wonderful having you on. Appreciate your generosity. How are you doing? Where are you zooming in? Where are you?
I'm coming to you from my house. Yeah, I'm coming in from Grand Street. I'm Midtown.
No doubt. Emily, I am seeing your name all over the place.
Yes.
I'm
a woman about town.
Are you at liberty to talk about like what you're up to right now?
Sure. Well, so I have had the privilege of serving on the city council for the last, this is my 8th year on the council, I guess.
Wow.
When I first ran in 2017, I just felt really passionate that, everyday regular citizens just need to get more involved in their government because unfortunately, some of the things I think we're seeing nationally are really toxic. I think they don't represent values of communities like Hoboken. And if good people aren't willing to step up and get involved in local politics, then, we don't have representation that is doing the right thing for our communities and reflecting our values at all the other levels. So I decided to take a leap of faith and get more involved. I ran for city council and then defended my seat in 2021. And now I'm kind of deciding to throw my hat in the ring of doing a bit more and getting more involved. And I announced in January that I'm running for mayor of Hoboken, which I'm really excited about because I just deeply love this community. I think there's so many special things. And Mile Square Theater is just a gem in our community. There are so many ways that I think MST gives back, certainly in terms of where that stacks us in the rest of Hudson County, the fact that we have a professional theater company that becomes a destination, whether you're in Manhattan, whether you're in Bergen County, people coming here, that's great for Hoboken. It means people are coming to our restaurants. It means people are patronizing all the businesses that surround Miles Square Theater, and supporting local arts. That's really deeply important to me. And Hoboken has a rich history of artists who live in this community. And so being able to support Miles Square is really important to me for lots of reasons. And probably the most important reason is my 10-year-old dancer who adores Mr. Derek. Derek Ladson is a gifted teacher. And the minute that I sent Bryn to a hip hop class at Miles Square Theater with Mr. Derek, she fell in love. She is a dancing queen. This child is so inspired by Derek and loves the programming. She's just had a great experience there. So I love Miles Square Theater for lots of reasons.
Yo, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. That makes us all really like proud. Derek is really that dude though. Like he's really like,
he's a gifted teacher.
I've known Derek for years. He's just a pillar. He's just a beloved. He's like kind of like an iconic Hobokenite, just straight up. Like
yeah.
That's cool. Well, thanks for sharing all that and just championing us and we're very lucky to have you in our community and representing us. It's really cool. What do the summer months like have in store for you? Like as things like ramp up, is it like, how all consuming this campaign? Like?
It's been definitely really busy. I hit the ground running. Hoboken is just an amazing community. 60,000 people in 1 square mile. It means there are a lot of people to talk to, and I'm going to talk to them all. I got to get there. So it's just been a lot of engagement with doing outreach with the community in all the different corners of our city. I'm really excited about it. It's not till November. So, I think a lot of folks right now are focused on June. There's a big governor's race going on. And so people are very much engaged there. And I think after that passes, people are going to start to dial in on what's coming next for Hoboken in November. So,
I'm going to tell you 2 Hoboken mayoral stories from my,
I love it.
From my, but you don't need to weigh in if you know what I mean. But I can't resist. So when I was I must have been like 7 or 8. I was a little kid, born and raised in Hoboken. I'm born in 85. So it's like early 90s. My little brother was walking, but was still like squashy. It's Halloween. We're coming off of the Ragamuffin Parade. We're cutting back through Church Square Park. My little brother Orly is dressed up as a pumpkin. I remember his costume. I don't remember mine, but he was really, really adorable. And he is walking in front of me. He is walking with my mom, and I'm walking right behind them with my dad, right? Close. And the mayor at the time was Mayor Anthony Russo. Anthony Russo, for those of you who don't remember, look, we all contain multitudes. We can thank Anthony Russo for like a lot of what our current waterfront looks like.
That's right.
Right. Like, and also Anthony Russo like was a crook, and I'm not even just talking shit because he was convicted. You know what I mean? Like he went to prison. Right. It's like facts are facts. Anyway, my mom, who is like pretty belligerent, we see Anthony Russo at the waterfront. I mean, at a water fountain, rather. We're in Church Square Park. We see Anthony Russo at
by the dolphins. Yeah.
Right. Exactly right. Like I'm talking to a friend, and my mom goes right up into his face, holding my little brother's hand, and says, "Look, Orly, there's someone dressed up as a mayor."
Oh my gosh.
This is the kind of a woman about town my mom was like. And my dad and I just sort of like passed.
You were like horrified. Yeah. Like, what's happening?
We weren't warned, Anyway, I don't think that's going to be part of your future. But I thought you'd get a kick out of it,
Well, sometimes I joke about being dressed up like as political Barbie. Like my kids laugh at me because during the day, in the morning, I'm like going to the gym, I'm working out or whatever, and then if I get dressed up, my kids are like, "Whoa, like, Mom, where are you going?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just playing political Barbie today." So I understand the feeling of dress for success. They say, I guess, yeah.
That's dope. Do you remember the first time you came to Miles Square Theater?
I do. It was one of the children's productions, and I still it was a book I had never I had never read before, but so we hear about this production. I bought the book because I was like, okay, I really want to make sure I understand what this little story is. My girls were really young. They must have been, I remember like reaching out to Miles Square and being like, is this age appropriate for like my, 5-year-old or whatever? And I remember going, and it was Princess KAM. It was like one of the spring children's theater productions. So this is like way back. It must be, my daughter's now almost 13. So it has to have been like 7-8 years ago, but it was this adorable production. And that was the first time I had ever been there. And so after that, I got a season membership and I started coming to all of the productions because I thought, how amazing. This is, a 5-block walk from me to just shoot up for a lovely night out. Like my husband and I always will make it a date night. We'll get dinner at Carpe, come by afterwards. Yes. Like it's such a great setup. And the talent is just incredible. And so now my dad who's 87, always comes with me to Broadway night. That's like his favorite thing, because one year my husband was out of town, couldn't come with me. So I said, Dad, why don't you come? And he just loves Broadway show tunes. The man loves show tunes. And so we came for Broadway night and he just loved it. We had the most amazing time. So there's a lot of different things that have become traditions in my family through Miles Square Theater, I think. And, we're proud to always be season members because there's such an amazing diversity of the different shows that are presented. But yeah, Broadway night is always a special fundraiser too.
Oh, that's so cool. Thanks for telling me that. That's really, like that's how I feel about it too. Like that, it's just like, when you have a place that sort of, that it's almost like it can almost be like church. It has a different. It provides a different thing. Obviously, it's a secular institution, right? I'm not trying to disrespect people's faith, but that there's something like in the ways that religious institutions sort of like have like rhythms and that you sort of see. There's familiarity and you see the same people. You have like these certain traditions, and obviously like a lot of those rites are very formal, but that theater can and often is occupies a similar role like civically in the life of a town. Yeah. It's just like,
that's right.
I know that there's going to be a holiday show at Miles Square Theater.
Yeah.
That's going to be family. That's like likely to be family friendly. Like I wonder what they're going to do this winter. And it gets announced, and then getting excited, right? And so I took my kid this past winter with one of his classmates, and I hollered at her folks, and I was like, "Yo, like, you mind if I take Ryan to a play? I want to take down the we walked down the viaduct, right? Like, and just like starting to like establish those like habits, It's just like this is a building that's like for the community to come and like
that's right.
Share together and tell stories. It means a lot that you see the value in that, like as an official in the town and someone who like
absolutely. Well, and I think there's something really important. Yeah. Well, and I think there's something really important about celebrating like the cultural life of a community, and I think teaching your kids young about what the appreciation for arts can look like. Because, we're really lucky. I mean, my kids are in Hoboken Public School District. They've had an amazing experience there. So there's a very vibrant art program. There's a vibrant theater program at our high school. But not all those community, not everybody else has that privilege. And so to have the opportunity to then like bring your kids into a space where they're learning what it is to go into an audience and to sit and pay respects to, all the different people involved and what it makes, what comes together to make a production. Like, I think that's a really important aspect of how kids learn about a community space. And it's just been a really important thing, I think, for them to learn about, how they live in this world and what they appreciate. And, maybe they, Bryn loves dancing. So like she's into it, but like, even if you're not, that's not your like thing, so to speak, like to have an appreciation for the arts and to be respectful of what that means is, I think, really important. And it's I think one of the cool things is there's so many intergenerational aspects to how Miles Square Theater also works. And I think about that, like when I'm thinking about the kids production in the spring, but then you have like, my 87-year-old dad loves the Broadway night. Like there's something for everyone, which is also really hard to accomplish. So I really give full credit that Miles Square Theater thinks about how to connect with all the different aspects of our community and to have intergenerational places to come together in congregation. Like you said, like, it really is a special thing because it's hard to do that effectively.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's really well said. What's your dad's favorite show
Gosh. He just loves all music. The man, it doesn't matter. He's into all of it.
I love that.
I took him to the Carole King show on Broadway. I remember he really loved Carole King music. He's been into that. Yeah. That was one of his favorites when we went to the city for that. But the Broadway show, it always like blows him away. I'll say, a lot of the performers live locally. So I'll say, like Joy lives in Weehawken. I know her. She's, and he's like, oh, they live here. And I'm like, yeah, they live here and they perform here. Like, how cool. Like, cause she's, Broadway level talent.
That's right.
So amazing.
Right. Wow. Well, Emily, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your service. No, straight up. And good luck to you on the trail.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And we'll see you, we'll see you around. We'll see you.
Absolutely. I'm a proud supporter of Mile Square Theater. So anything I can do, please always reach out. And, that's kind of my thing is I like to be available, any of the places in the community where you need assistance. I'm a social worker by training. So for me, I'm just there for trying to be a helper, as they say.
That's a beautiful thing. We appreciate you for it. Thank you for your generosity.
Absolutely. Nice to see you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks for joining. All right. Now we're at the end of our lunch segment. My dumbass. Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. This has been really cool. We are on the march. Towards 30K. I'm very grateful for all of these beautiful souls who are part of the fabric of Mile Square Theater from so many different angles. That's a really cool thing to see. We got people who are, who make the productions happen on the stage itself and behind the scenes. We've got board members and patrons and members of the community from different walks of life who all care about what Mile Square Theater is doing in our space, just as a this place matters-y kind of way. Get us a thing, Hoboken. We want a plaque. Like, this place matters. In the meantime, we're almost at 15K. We got 13 minutes till 2 p.m. Can we get there? I'm challenging y'all. The code is there for the scanning. We're gonna be back in a couple of hours at 4:30 p.m. We will return with another slate of beautiful and interesting and sparkling guests, and you will get a sneak preview to at least one of the shows that we're doing next season. And our new artistic director in residence, who I spoke with like 40 minutes ago, Chris Craigenday, will be back to interview at least one of those playwrights. So come on back. That's going to be really cool. You don't want to miss that. Stay tuned to the Hudson Gives page throughout the day. They're going to do surprise competitions for new donors, for most number of donors, for highest donations. There's things to win, and award the nonprofits that win the challenge. I believe last year we came in 12th. That's a hard word to say. In the county. That's cool. I don't know out of how many, but it sounds high. Let's see if we can get top 10.
We're number 5 right now.
Oh, we're number 5 right now. Let's go, Elizabeth. Let's go. So it's another way. It's another way that you can support Mile Square Theater. There are lots of ways. You can follow us on social media. You can engage with our things. You can like them and make comments. That matters. You can come to our shows. That obviously matters. You can tell friends about our shows. That matters. And today you can drop like $5-10. And $5-10 is not that much for y'all, probably. For many of you, I'm not gonna make assumptions. For a lot of you, $5-10 is not that much, but it's a lot for us. It's a hard time to be making theater. It's a hard year for theater. So reach into those wallets and break us off a little something. And we appreciate all of you for making it possible for us to continue to do this work that matters so much to us and to like the many hundreds of people who come in and out of our theater every month.
Gabe, I love what you said about theater being a kind of church, and Emily referred to our audience as a kind of congregation, and I really think $5 or $10 is an act of faith, right? It's an act of faith in our future. It's an act of faith in our humanity. It's an act of faith that telling stories about ourselves to ourselves matters, and that it matters to the people around us. And so we would encourage you to join us in that faithful effort. And we will do our best to make sure that we are honoring those gifts. 78 of you have donated today, which is amazing. Nice. Thank you so much for making that happen and for putting us 5th on the board. And frankly, if we come in 12th again, that would be okay too, because the reality is that we're doing this with you, and it's really, really important. And it's such a feedback loop and a boost to those of us who are doing this work. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for those that are watching, and we're going to chop this up in 100 different ways, I'm sure. So if you didn't get here, okay. And then it sounds like there's a thing that we need to 2:01 is a magic time. I hope that's not a spoiler alert, but definitely watch the Hudson Gives page for 2:01 in 10 minutes from now.
2:01 p.m.
2:01 p.m. Right. And then we're going to come back at 4:30, and in that segment, 4:30 to 7:30, not just one of the playwrights from next season, but 2. So you definitely want to be with us and I think we didn't plan it this way, but I think it's actually the first and the last.
Oh, that's cool.
Interviews that we're doing are with playwrights. We're so excited about the season. It's been such an inspiring thing to do together, for sure. And let's see, is there anything else, Gabe, that you think people might need to know?
No, I think that covers it.
Okay.
Yeah, 2:01. Cue it up at 2:01. We're back on. We're back on at 4:30.
Right, we're back on here at a live stream at 4:30. Right, but you can go to hudsongives.org and then search for Mile Square Theater, or you can use the Bitly the Bitly link, so that takes you right to our page, so you don't have to do any searching if that's too challenging. In this Bitly link, the capitals matter. That's actually really important. So I think that's it. Gabe, you've been doing such an amazing job. We've talked to 17 people already this morning because Mick joined Joy, so that's actually one more than we were planning on, which was so fantastic. Yeah. And I've learned so much about people that I thought I knew reasonably well. So thank you for drawing out the stories that some you knew, some you just stumbled into. So that was
no really doubt. It's been such a pleasure. Appreciate you.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you at 4:30.
All right. We'll be back in a few hours. Take it easy, guys.